The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Welcome to Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com, 631-451-1039, the number to join the show. Later on in the show, we're going to give away some Mets tickets. Sports Bash brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Falcone Law Firm. If you need to speak to an attorney, call them at 631-6074-LAW. That's 631-607-4529. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. Visit their website at martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Ready Set Studios, a full-service content marketing agency. For a free consultation, call them at 516-509-8277. Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined as always by Vinny Tickets. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Peter.
Lots to cover in a short amount of time. We're going to talk Rangers hockey in just a moment with the Rangers beat writer for Newsday, COLIN Stephenson. But first, it's time for a Sports Bash Flash, brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner is located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. Here's WizKid Vinny.
This is WizKid Vinny with your Sports Bash Flash. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Rangers were trying to get the victory in Game 5 of the second round, but the Carolina Hurricanes weren't giving it up yet.
Trouba. They give it away to Natchez out in front. Martinook scores! Natchez to Martinook, and it's an offensive explosion in the third period. Carolina has a 3-1 lead.
Mike Maniscalco on the Hurricanes radio on the call. The final score was 4-1. The Rangers will look to put the series away in Game 6 this Thursday in Raleigh at 7 p.m. on TNT. In Game 5 for the second round of the NBA playoffs, the Knicks will look to regain the series lead against the Indiana Pacers at 8 p.m. tonight on TNT. Over in Queens, the Mets allowed the Philadelphia Phillies to come back to take the lead, but maybe they could get the game back.
Alvarado fires. Looper, shallow center. Stock goes out. He makes the catch, and the ball game is over. A little dunker almost fell in, and Stott slid out from short to make the catch. The Phillies rip one away from the Mets in extra innings.
Keith Radd on the call for WCBS 880 New York. It was a 5-4 Phillies victory, and the Mets will try to tie the series this afternoon at 1:10. And later tonight at 7:40, the Yankees will begin their road series against the Minnesota Twins. With your Sports Bash Flash, I'm Vinny Laspinuso.
All right, Vinny, thank you. And you talked about the Rangers losing to the Hurricanes last night, 4-1, a series that was 3-0 Rangers a few days ago. Vinny is now 3-2, and all the momentum on the side of the Carolina Hurricanes. And on the line with us to talk about the Blue Shirts is their beat writer for Newsday, COLIN Stephenson. COLIN, it's Peter and Vinny. How are you, my friend?
No, I'm doing better than some of the Rangers, I think. How about you guys?
I would think so. Let me start with the post-mortem, and you were in that locker room. How would you describe how the Rangers, to a man, are feeling? Are they stunned? Are they still confident? What's the general consensus feeling on the Rangers after losing the second straight game in the series last night?
Well, they're trying to project confidence, of course, as you would expect. They have to be stunned, though. I mean, they had, you're up 3-0. You want to win it in Game 4. If you don't win it in Game 4, you come home for Game 5 and you expect to win it in front of your home fans, and it really was a dud for them. I mean, it went away just really quickly in a span of 6.5 minutes or thereabouts. They gave up 3 goals. To blow a 1-0 lead, and look, now they're in trouble. Sure, they still lead the series 3-2, but as you said, Carolina does have momentum. Even though the messaging coming out of the Rangers locker room is that there is no momentum from game to game. There is momentum within games, but not from game to game. And to be fair, I mean there are 2 days. It's not just a normal play, day off, and then play again. I mean, they have 2 days before Game 6. So the team's going to be off today. They'll have meetings. They won't skate. They'll practice again tomorrow, Wednesday, and then, fly to Carolina and play Thursday. So they have a little bit of a minute to catch their breath here. But, yeah, they've got to rededicate themselves, and they've got to, they know what that building is going to be like in Carolina. It's going to be loud. It was super loud in Game 4. It's going to be even more loud in Game 6, and they're going to have to be able to withstand that. They know that the Hurricanes are going to come at them, really hard at the start. They're going to have to be able to, withstand that, match that, and find a way. So yeah, there's concern there, but they were doing their best to project sort of like, it's okay, it's all good, all is well, we've still got this kind of thing.
Hey, Colin, what do you think are going to be the keys, the key to the game this Thursday night? It seemed like, really in that game, the Rangers could have been down 4-1 in the first period or in the second period. It seems like they were playing on their heels a little bit, and they let the game. They didn't go after the game. They let Carolina take control of the game. But what do you think is the biggest key going into Thursday for the Rangers?
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think they really need to attack, and they need to let Carolina know from puck drop that this is going to be a different game, and the Rangers are going to be attacked. Now, what they did, if you look at the stats from the game last night, a couple of things surprised me. Number one, the Rangers dominated the faceoff circle, which is not usual against Carolina. Carolina is normally a very good faceoff team. The Rangers won 2 out of 3. I mean, they won 34 out of 51. So, so that means you start with the puck. And Peter, as a lacrosse guy, that you win a faceoff, you start with possession. And so that's a big deal. But they didn't capitalize on that. The other thing is that, they out-hit Carolina. So they were the more physical team. And that didn't seem to pay off. I don't know. Their defensive coverage was just really bad. I mean, if you look on the Evgeny Kuznetsov goal, you see that he runs right by, Artemi Panarin. Now, I'm never going to complain about Artemi Panarin being, a weak defensive player because he's so good offensively. And, he did win Game 3 for them with that fantastic overtime tip. He's got 4 goals. They're all game winners. So, I mean, he gives you something at the offensive end, and he drives you offensively. So, I mean, you really, nobody's perfect. He's going to be a little deficient on defense. But he's just been exposed these last 2 games. I mean, he's -2 last night. I think he was -3 in Game 4. So he's been exposed defensively, and they've got to figure out something. I don't know if they want to change up their lines, which is something that they have not done all season. They've kept that line together with Aaron, Trocheck, and Lafreniere. They've kept that line together all season. And, I don't know if it's time to change it up because Panarin seems to be getting exposed defensively, and obviously that's a problem. Now, we'll see, too, whether they have Filipino.
That was going to be my next question. He's missed after he fights so hard to come back.
Yeah,
he's missed the last 2 with what they're calling an illness. What's the feeling about him? Is there a belief that this illness is related to the concussion issue that kept him out for a big chunk of the season?
No, as a matter of fact, so that would be the good news. The belief is that the illness was not, in fact, related to the concussion.
Okay.
Because, he was able to skate at the morning skate yesterday. So, apparently he didn't feel well on the morning of Game 4. And so they left him out. There was no reason, they were up 3-0 anyway. And you don't want to mess around with a guy who's dealing with the issues that he's dealing with. So they left him out. But apparently the next day he woke up feeling much better. And he was able to skate at the morning skate yesterday. But he was just generally sore after not playing for 6 months and then playing a game. And so, he now will have, he didn't play last night, and he'll now have 2 days off, today and tomorrow, and presumably would be ready to go for Game 6 on Thursday. And he might make a difference. He's a guy who obviously can generate some offense. He's not the greatest defensive player either. But he would help that third line, because if you look at that third line, which is presently constituted with Will Cooley and Alex Wenberg and Kaapo Kakko, they've dominated possession on their shifts. They don't play a ton, but when they do play, they dominate possession. They have the puck in the offensive zone. They win the boards. They do everything right. They just don't get enough shots, and they've only scored that line 2 goals. And so if you do have Filipino and he is able to play, and you slot him in on that third line, he's a guy who will shoot. He is a guy that will look for offense, and so he may be he may be a factor there. So I mean, but this is what happens in a playoff series, right? You get a guy who's hurt, and you don't know if he's going to come back or whatever, and it changes everything. So this is the intrigue with any normal playoff series.
Colin, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I'm sure I'm going to see you in September at Hofstra for the Premier Lacrosse League semifinals, because that's usually where we see each other these days. Is that a lacrosse game?
Yeah. I mean, you know me, Pete. I'm a lacrosse dad, man. I got to get my fix.
Colin Stephenson from Newsday. Enjoy Game 6, Rangers Hurricanes. Colin, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right, when we come back here on Sports Bash, we'll have a ticket giveaway this day in sports history. Some other stuff to talk about. It's all coming up. Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. We're coming back right after this. Stay with us on Facebook and YouTube through the break. We are back for our Facebook and YouTube viewers during the break. Peter Schwartz along with Vinny Tickets here on Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. This is our sponsor spotlight. And of course, we love our sponsors, whether it's the Embassy Diner, Falcone Law Firm, Ready Set Studios, and also the Marnie Lyons Foundation. And thought we would take a moment on today's spotlight to welcome sponsors who would love to join the Sports Bash Media family. It's very, very easy. All you have to do is go to the Sports Bash Media website, sportsbashmedia.com. There are email addresses on there, some information about the show, and reach out. Our audience is growing, and good things are coming up here in the future for Sports Bash.
Absolutely. Lots of views online, lots of interaction, and it's brand new. It's only a week old. So we are expecting to see our numbers really skyrocket over the next 90 days, and realize that it's not just being on the show. It also provides social media content, social media videos, social media promotions. So it's not just being on our show. It goes a lot deeper than that.
Absolutely. And we've got some great packages that would meet the budgetary needs of any of the sponsors, but we are also available to custom sponsorship packages. Our show is growing. We're a half an hour right now. We anticipate Sports Bash Media exploding to some other programming down the road as well. So there's a lot to offer. We're just really getting started, and we're already seeing some of our sponsors feel the benefits of being involved.
Absolutely. It's things are going very well right now, Peter.
Okay, so we have about 15 seconds to go before the radio audience rejoins us. Still some more to come this day in sports history, a Mets ticket giveaway. We're going to welcome back our radio audience. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz, along with Vinny Tickets. The number to call right now, phone lines are open, 631-451-1039, 631-451-1039. We've got a Mets ticket giveaway coming up in just a couple of moments. That was a tough loss for the Mets last night.
That was tough.
And that's painful watching that with three other Met fans.
I saw, you know what? I actually didn't catch the score, but when I saw Wiz's face this morning, I knew right away.
Yeah, that was that was a tough one for Met fans last night. But perhaps they'll win when we're giving the tickets away for the Mets and Marlins. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. But first, the aforementioned Wiz Kid Vinny, and it's time for this day in sports history.
Or on the topic of baseball, and in case you're wondering, yes, that was a strikeout. I don't care what the umpire said or that them talking about the Mets game. That was crazy. But let's talk about a legend, a true legend. One of the first 5 people inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame up in Cooperstown, New York. Walter Johnson. This day in 1920, he won his 300th game. Of course, the legendary Washington Senator. It was a 9-8 victory for them against the Detroit Tigers, which, considering that the team's now the Minnesota Twins, it's still their division rival, still a long-term rival for them. And Johnson had 3 2/3 innings in relief. He allowed 3 hits, threw 1 strikeout, and had no earned runs. And that allowed the Senators, who were down 8-6, to come back and tie the game and have a walk-off single by first baseman Joe Judge.
How about that? That's a regular season game that one of the great pitchers of all time comes in relief. Like, that's usually something you see in the postseason, you'd see, listen, I hate to bring up a bad memory, but 2001, we saw, the Randy Johnsons of the world coming out of the bullpen for Arizona against the Yankees. But that's really an intriguing thing, that his 300th win was a relief appearance.
Yes, it was. It was a relief appearance. And usually we think about that today, but don't forget, there were still 117 more wins in Walter Johnson's legendary career. And he just came out of relief. The team was down. He pitched. He did what he had to do. And the Senators won the game. I'm tempted to almost call them the Nationals, but in a way they actually were kind of called the Nationals interchangeably with the Senators.
Yeah, that was a different time. I mean, pitchers, it wasn't uncommon for a pitcher to go 11 or, they go extra innings. Yeah, he pitched 11 today. Pitched 11.
He'll ice it. Good for tomorrow.
Yeah. And the thing is, like these days, doing updates, whether it's, when I'm on WFAN or national networks or whatever, and I'm going over the scores before my update shift starts, and you're in shock when somebody throws a complete game these days. It just doesn't happen.
A complete game. You very rare.
I mean, and it's the analytics, it's the pitch count, but that's a great job today, Vinny. A great this day in sports history.
Yeah, it only makes sense because you're talking about one of the greats. He is truly, without question, one of the greats. 3-time Triple Crown winner, 5-time ERA winner. I mean, what more could you want?
Now,
seriously,
we cannot guarantee you'll see a complete game, but we do have 2 tickets for the Mets that we're going to be giving away right now.
Absolutely. Compliments of ticketbash.com. We'll be giving away 2 Met tickets for the June 11th game, and those tickets will be in the lower level. That's 2 lower level tickets for the June 11th Met game.
So be the 4th caller right now. That's caller number 4 for Rusty Staub, Bruce Beauclair.
Good job.
Any other Mets wear number 4 you want to mention, Vinny? Lenny Dykstra.
When I was growing up, it was Wilmer Flores.
So any number 4 for the New York Mets in their history. Be the 4th caller at 631-451-1039. That's 631-451-1039. And if you're the 4th caller, you'll be going to see the Mets and the Marlins June 11th at Citi Field. The great thing about doing the live show now, Monday through Friday, is that there's going to be some breaking news on the way to the show, during the show. The show eventually gets to an hour. We have an extra half an hour to have breaking news on the show. But breaking news on the way, on the drive here today. The NFL schedule is coming out tomorrow, the whole schedule. We already know the season openers, the Chiefs and the Ravens. We talked about it yesterday. But on the way here, I get the buzz on the phone. It's the New York Jets announcing their season opener on Monday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. And I'll tell you, I saw some mixed reaction on social media already. Some people are like, this is great. Some people are like, oh my God, that's a tough way to start the season against the Super Bowl team. I like it. Listen, if you're the Jets, you're getting Aaron Rodgers back, you've got this loaded team. Like, all right, bring it on first week. Let's see where this team is. I felt the same way last year going into the Buffalo game. You had no idea that Aaron Rodgers was going to get hurt. But to me, I think this is great. I think you find out where this team is right off the bat.
Well, that's an interesting take. I was kind of thinking the opposite, that yes, absolutely. I think it's a great barometer for the team. But at the same time, it's always nice to start off with a few wins to a season and get some momentum going. If the Jets go out there and they're not as sharp as we think, it's possible they go out there and lose by 30, right?
Yeah.
If they're not the team that we think they are. Well, I'll go with you on that.
Listen, I've had a lifetime of disappointment as a Jets fan. I want to be optimistic. I'm actually very excited about this. I think it's a great way to start the season. And we'll see tomorrow how the rest of the Jets schedule unfolds, and also the Giants and the rest of the NFL schedule. 631-451-1039 is the number to call. It's also the number we're looking for the 4th caller to win the Mets Marlins tickets on June 11th. But Glenn is on the line from Flushing, wants to talk about the Knicks. Glenn, you're up first here today on Sports Bash.
Hey, guys. How you doing? What's up, Peter?
Hey, what's going on, Glenn? How you doing?
Very good. I want to tell you, first of all, you 3 guys are great. You just come across as very nice guys, and I like it a lot.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Glenn.
You're welcome. And maybe Vinny tickets. You got a lot of pull, I would assume. You should get a T-shirt with all 3 of your faces. I'll be the first one to buy
it. Yeah, we are working on the Sports Bash media line of apparel, so we are working on that.
Very good. And Vinny, The other Vinny, you do sound like a genius, I have to say, but I hope I get you with a trivia question one of these days.
Yeah, well, that's tomorrow. Whiz Kid Vinny, Stump the Whiz tomorrow. Yep. Forgot to mention that. We're going to be talking. We're going to chance to stump the Whiz tomorrow on the show.
Try to comment on. Try to DM the Facebook accounts for a trivia thing, a trivia question that I could try to answer. Don't worry, I don't know what it is. Okay. I'm far away from it.
Let's get to Glenn's question because we got a couple minutes left on the show.
Okay, very worried. You talked about lifelong disappointment as a Jet fan, but as a Knicks fan, I got to say I'm worried, guys.
Me too.
I don't know what you think?
Me 3.
It's 3.5 points.
Me 4.
Somehow tonight, but I just want to get all your opinions on. Do you think this is the end for the Knicks? What are we looking at tonight?
Well, Glenn, thanks for the call, Glenn from Flushing. Yeah, listen, I'm worried. Listen, this is a depleted team. They're not going to have Anunoby. Jalen Brunson's playing on one foot, and I think this is a tough. The crowd is really going to have to be a factor tonight at the Garden, I think.
Yeah, and listen, these Knicks have been extremely resilient, not only during the regular season but also during the playoffs, winning games that maybe they probably shouldn't have won. Right. So I'm hoping I'm going to remain the eternal optimist, and I'm going to say
they found a way.
They found a way.
They always find a way.
Maybe they pulled a rabbit out of the hat tonight.
We'll see. Does Precious Achiuwa step up? Do they get Alec Burks? Does he become a big contributor tonight? I don't know. Defensively, they're going to have to be better. We'll see what happens. But good luck to the Knicks tonight. Congratulations to Robert from Flushing. He is our ticket winner. He is going to see the Mets and the Marlins June 11th. At Citi Field, courtesy of ticketbash.com. We're going to put him in good seats, right?
Absolutely. Congratulations, Robert.
So Robert from Flushing is going to the Mets game. Now, Glenn from Flushing brought up stumping WizKid. That's the big thing we're debuting on the show tomorrow. So this is what you want to do. You want to go to the Sports Bash Media Facebook and Instagram pages, private message, so he doesn't see it. You want a private message, a question to try and stump the Wiz, and we're going to give away tickets on the show again tomorrow. So he doesn't know what the question is going to be. We're going to pick a question and try and stump him.
It's going to be great.
Absolutely. Are you ready for that?
I was born ready.
There you go. That's what I want to hear. So we've got a big Wednesday show coming up with reaction to the Knicks-Pacers game tonight. We're going to have Stump the Wiz with a ticket winner there. We're going to talk about, we'll preview the NFL schedule release. You never know what else is going to happen. For everybody on the show, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks to our sponsors, the Embassy Diner, Ticketbash.com, Ready Set Studios, Falcone Law Firm, and the Marty Lyons Foundation. For everybody on the show, I'm Peter Schwartz saying thank you for listening and watching, and we will see you again right here, and you're going to hear us too, on LI News Radio, also on Facebook and YouTube tomorrow night.